Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the Southern Oregon Weather Midweek Update. We'll start with some current observations and then discuss our short-term forecast. We'll conclude with some updated long-range considerations. So first, if we take a look at the returns from the KMAX radar on top of Mount Ashland, we see a few showers lingering in the Southern Oregon Cascades, more to the south near Mount Shasta. These showers continued overnight and dropped a pretty healthy amount of snow, especially in the Warners. Cedar Pass picked up over a foot. But for the Siskiyous, there was just a little bit of a dusting on the webcam at Mount Ashland this morning. I did ski at Mount Ashland a couple days ago. I hiked and found about 4 to 6 inches of new snow. So in general, our area missed out on the very heavy snow totals that the system dropped to the south, but a respectable refresh for the snowpack for our area. As far as what we can expect for the rest of the day, this is the NAM, the North American model. It's a high-resolution model. It shows some showers this afternoon, mainly over the Southern Oregon Cascades due to convection and daytime heating. But then those showers dwindle by this evening, and then our area really clears out, and we're going to be warming up and drying out through the week this week. We can see on the Canadian ensembles this ridge in the Gulf of Alaska extending into the Pacific Northwest, and that's going to give us pretty spring-like weather over the next few days. Here the Weather Channel is calling for highs in the mid-60s over the coming week, lows in the mid to upper 30s, and that's pretty close to our seasonal normals for this time of year. Lows right around 37. That's our average low temperature for this time of year in Medford. Our maximum temperature is 60 degrees according to the National Weather Service. We should get a couple degrees above that, so it'll really feel like spring this week. However, there are indications that we could see another storm system move through early next week. Here's the Canadian ensemble. You can see in this loop the blue colors returning to Oregon by Monday and Tuesday of next week. Here's the Canadian operational model. It shows the system moving in from the Gulf of Alaska. An initial feature bringing some cooler air and maybe some very light showers on Sunday, but then the main system moving in Monday into Tuesday. So when the deterministic model agrees well with the ensemble, that's a pretty good bet that the models are confident that something's going to happen. Here's the initial snowfall estimate from the Canadian model. We see these showers producing 1 to 2 feet over the Oregon Cascades. That might be a little bit overdone. My guess is this system is going to be pretty similar to the last one for Oregon, in that we're going to see some narrower bands of rain and snowfall set up, maybe some convective activity over the higher peaks, and so snowfall's largely going to be hit and miss. Some areas will see more, some areas will see less. And also keep in mind, these totals are totals that are going to fall over the course of several days. So I would guess maybe some areas in the Cascades will get lucky and see up to a foot. Could see, again, 4 to 6 inches in the Siskiyous, but we'll have to see how this pans out. If we take a look at Wednesday of next week, all three of the major ensembles, the European in the upper right-hand corner, the American ensemble upper left, and then the Canadian on the bottom, all three of those are showing a similar solution with troughing over the northern United States and the Pacific Northwest. So that's a good bet that our showery and cooler than average pattern for next week is going to extend through the week. And there are a couple reasons for this. First is what's called the atmospheric angular momentum. It's basically a measure of how strong the jet stream is, those upper level winds that steer weather patterns around the globe. And we can see the AAM is forecast to trend lower than average over the next week or so. And a negative AAM is a signal for troughing over the northwestern and northern United States. I've flipped the scale here so that you can see that a negative AAM is correlated with troughing over the northern and northwestern United States. So that's one indication that this cooler and wetter pattern, once we move into it next week, it's going to stick around for several days. Another clue is the Madden-Julian oscillation, like we've talked about. It's moving into phases 2 and 3. 3 especially is a cooler and wetter pattern for our region. And then we have the PNA, the Pacific North American Index, trending pretty strongly negative over the next 10 days. Finally, we have what are called analogs. So forecasters will look at the historical records and try to figure out which years in the past had similar weather patterns to this year. They'll look at teleconnections, they'll look at the Madden-Julian oscillation, and try to match this year with some other years in the past that were very, very similar. Two of those years are 1963 and 2003. And this is what happened in both of those years in April. So a blend of these 2 years shows pretty strong troughing sitting right along the west coast. So this is a clue that we could not only see a cooler and wetter than average end to March, but this pattern could extend into April as well. So to recap, for now we have warmer and drier conditions. This week through the weekend, enjoy the spring weather while it lasts, because there's good model agreement on showers returning early next week. And those showers may continue. This cooler and wetter pattern may stick around because of this negative atmospheric angular momentum and the MJO moving into phase 3. And we have other signals like the negative PNA and our analogs showing that this cooler and wetter weather could extend all the way through April. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to set your notifications for the update this weekend and in a few days. And please like, share this video with your friends, and subscribe.